Hi, I'm Kim. I'm an East Asian medical provider, and today I'm going to talk about another way that you can find your spiritual and emotional balance. In East Asian medicine, there's a lot of different ways to address your spirituality. Yet, how we're going to address it today is with herbs. And I'm going to talk about one herb in particular that you can use to help you come back into balance when you're kind of feeling like you're not fitting in. So I'm going to cover 5 things. First, I'm going to talk about the spirituality of Elixir or Ganoderma and how it helps you with your spirituality. Then I'm going to touch base on the history. Then I'm going to talk about the 3 different energies in Chinese medicine. And after that, we're going to talk about 5 elements and then how you can identify your element so you know which one to get. Part of the big difference today versus yesterday is yesterday they were using herbs for internal alchemy, and internal alchemy is about changing what's going on inside your head. And a big piece of that is your spirituality and your emotional health. Well, I've talked about Ganoderma before, which is Reishi, which is Elixir in Chinese medicine, and these are medical grade Ganoderma. Now, the neat thing about Ganoderma is it comes in 5 different colors. So it comes in this, which is black, which today is the easiest one to get, mainly I think because of what's going on with the pandemic. The other one that used to be the most common that we purchased was the red one. And then you can get yellow, you can get green, and you can get white. So there's 5 different colors of Ganoderma, and each one of these colors is specific to a specific type of person. So let's first talk about how Ganoderma helps you with your spirituality. So let's talk a little bit about what Elixir or Ganoderma does for you and your spirituality. So Elixir, it works at the Jing level of the body. And when we talk about the 3 energies, I'll get into Jing a little bit more, but Jing is about your physical appearance here on Earth, you being incarnate here. And Elixir is an adaptogen. So what that means is it helps you adapt to your surroundings. So if you're feeling uncomfortable in your skin, that's what Elixir is for. It helps you feel more comfortable in your own skin. So a little bit on the history. How we practice herbs today is so different than how they practiced herbs 2,000 years ago. And 2,000 years ago, what was happening in China was different than what's happening today. When we look at the spiritual properties of Elixir, that comes from 2,000 years ago, when the Han Dynasty was in power. And during that time, that was a really big revival in medicine and also in Daoism. So that was the time period when Daoism moved from being just a philosophy like Confucianism, when it moved out to the general masses and they made it more a religion. And they talk about that a lot. They talk about the institutionalizing of Daoism and the thoughts behind, why they did that. And it was so that they could expand its reach. But by making it a religion, you could also attach the thoughts to images. So like we have our saints, and when we think about certain saints, they encompass this whole broad category. And that's kind of what they did with Daoism at that time in order to make it more understandable to the masses, because there wasn't a lot of education, there wasn't a lot of reading at the time. So in Chinese medicine, everything comes in threes. And that's a big backbone in Daoism also. And Daoism is such a fundamental thought process in Chinese medicine. So three energies, Jing, Qi, and Shen. Okay, so Shen's your spirituality, and Qi is your actions here on earth, and Jing is your physical presence here on earth. So Elixir is going to address that physical presence here on earth and making that physical presence, making you more comfortable in your own skin. What about the 5 elements? I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on the 5 elements, so you're going to be able to identify which color Elixir or Ganoderma works for you. And so 5 elements. We have fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. And fire is red. So if you're fire, you would go with the red Ganoderma. If you were earth, you would go with the yellow Ganoderma. If you were a metal, you would go with white Ganoderma. Water likes the black Ganoderma, and wood likes the green Ganoderma. Now, the green Ganoderma is actually, it grows in the woods, and the fungus from the trees grow on it. So you don't really find that one. And it's really hard to find the white one too, but you can if you look like on eBay or something like that. I've seen white Ganoderma, but I've never seen the green Ganoderma. So what you can do to make green Ganoderma is Irish moss. When I was in school for East Asian medicine, they didn't tell us that there was a good side to the 5 elements. Because we were learning all the pathologies, all the illnesses, we only learned the bad sides of it. And I didn't have any idea that there was positive sides. So you're lucky, because today I'm going to tell you what's good about being the element that you are. Let's talk about the yellow Ganoderma. So if you're an earth constitution, who are you if you're experiencing your best day? Well, you're honest, you're loyal, you're gentle, and you're carefree. So emotionally, that sounds like a pretty good day. This Ganoderma helps quiet the spirit. So it helps quiet the anxiety. And it also helps with the stomach, with your digestion. If you're experiencing heartburn or slow digestion or constipation. So let's talk about white Ganoderma or white Elixir. So what are the positive things that come about from using white Elixir? Well, it helps you strengthen your will so you become brave. And it helps you face situations and not be fearful of them. And then it also helps you with your physical presence here on earth, so that your identity, your value is not attached to physical things, what you have. So that's the positive side of the spiritual and emotional side of Ganoderma. And then from a physical side, it will help with your lung qi and cough. And it also helps you, if you're having a hard time verbalizing, it helps you improve your ability to communicate. The next one we have is the black Ganoderma. So what's the cool properties what's the cool spiritual properties of being a water person? You are patient. You're like crazy patient. Nobody is ever going to outpatience you. And so that's a super, super positive quality. Compassion. You're really compassionate. So you see different sides of the story naturally. And then the other thing that is really interesting is you have a really gentle sense of humor. So You're able to break up stressful situations with a real gentle humor. Then from a physical perspective, well, Black Ganoderma deals with the kidneys, it deals with the bladder. So if you're going to the bathroom a lot, or if you're having troubles going to the bathroom, this is really good for those kind of issues. So the last Ganoderma is the green Ganoderma. So what are some of the positive things of being wood? Well, the wood, kindness. And the other thing is, you have this unique thing that you do is you cultivate humanity. So you're very supportive of humanity. And fairness. Fairness is a big one for the wood people. What does it address from the physical side? Well, it's going to address digestive issues. It's going to address headaches, eyes, issues with the eyes. So those are all the positive sides of the 5 elements. And we don't hear about that very often, if at all. How do you know which element you are? I am going to give you a quick hitter. This usually works. You're going to be probably 80% correct if you use this. And if you're not, go out to my website, set up an appointment with me, and let's talk. Let's start with the yellow Ganoderma. So we're going to talk about how you react to stress. You're going to start just overanalyzing things. You'll sit there and go, oh, let's talk about interactions with people. You're like, what do they mean? Did they think that did they think this was wrong? Maybe they thought, oh, what were they thinking about? I wonder if I did this wrong. Do you think I did this right? Oh my gosh, you're going to be overanalyzing a situation. And then the metal person likes to kind of break things down into the technical aspects of it. They, instead of making it about the emotions, they would make it about the things, they would make it about things. And the other way that they might go is with sadness and grief. So they would make it about things like, oh, I don't have these things and everybody else has these things. So, I'm just not that good a person. I want more things. I need a better car. And if I don't have a better car, I'm just not a great person. I'm just not valuable. That is your metal person. And then the water person, when you're under stress, your first response is to retreat and disappear. So hopefully nobody can find you. Avoidance is going to be your first response. And then there's the wood person, and their first response is anger, fight, pissed off. So that's an easy one to figure out. And then you have the fire person, anxiety. They just get nervous. They can't stop moving. They're all over the place. If they stop moving, it's like the end of the world. Their emotions just go through the roof. So the heart person has to stay active, super active. The more stressed out they are, the more active they become. So if you can find yourself in one of those stress responses, then I would go for the Ganoderma that is associated with that stress response. Let's make your tea. And this is really easy. I just use one Ganoderma. I'm going to break it up. I'm going to put it into my teapot. I'm actually going to boil the water for 10 minutes. And why I'm going to do that is because this is a dried herb. So this isn't a fresh herb. And I think if you had fresh herb, then you could just do this as an infusion where you just You could just do this as an infusion where you just poured hot water over it and let it sit for 10 minutes. Now, I'm a wood constitution, so I need a green Ganoderma. And what you do is, if your wood, this is the one where you're not going to find green Ganoderma. I've never seen it. So instead, I am going to take one of the black Ganoderma, so start with black, and then add in Irish sea moss. And that should get you to where you want to go. So I'm going to boil this Ganoderma for 10 minutes. And then in the end, for the last few minutes, I'm going to let the sea moss soak with the Ganoderma. So there you have it, Ganoderma, to help you feel more comfortable in your own skin and help you with your spirituality. Okay, guys, until next time, I'll catch you on the other side.